for a second. We're gonna get this squared away. Then we'll be ready to go. Get him up there in the air. Hey, welcome, welcome. Come in. How's everybody doing on this terrific Tuesday? Hope all is well. Rochelle, good morning, bestie. Good morning. I know I'm late. I said 8:30, but had some things to do this morning and got that taken care of. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to hashtag I'm Gonna Say It. I'm your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter. Those that are new here, welcome. Those that are coming back, thank you for coming back. And to my news crew members, thank you for supporting me. Now, before we get started, we have to do our disclaimer.
Welcome to hashtag I'm Gonna Say It. All things said today is alleged and for entertainment and educational purposes only. If you are below the age of 18, we request that you leave the live now. Enjoy.
Tiffany, thank you for that heart, me love. How you doing? How are you doing? I hope all is well. Hope all is well. Okay, so we are covering like pretty much a lot of other podcasters are doing, content creators are doing. We're covering the Puffy Jacket trial, right? And so yesterday was pretty interesting. We know Dawn Rashad, she finished her testimony, yeah, whatever, yeah, testimony, right? And so, good morning, Angel. How you doing, bestie? But also, Cassie's ex-best friend. I don't know if they're still best friends because you'll hear why. But she also took the stand, and I want to play the audio from Khadijah Lynn covering that for the simple fact, because we have people who are not understanding fully why Cassie stayed for the amount of time that she stayed. Like I really think it's vital we get this out to people. So her ex-best friend, when she took the stand, she actually gave a lot of insight and narratives on things that happened or events that took place and transpired that will prove to those who are doubting Cassie as to the fear she had to encounter. Dawn Rashad, she already told us one thing as far as with the skillet and the eggs and things like that, and him threatening to hit Cassie with it, and Cassie dropping to the floor and balling up in a fetal position, right? Dawn Rashad already said that. And on my page, I posted a video where Puffy Jacket is talking to Cassie. Cassie's balled up in a fetal position on the floor, and she's covered up in a cover. Now, the reason why I did that is because I wanted to show you all. You have Dawn Rashad who says, Onyx, hey, welcome, Bessie. How you doing today? I hope all is well with you. Thank you for sharing the live out. I appreciate that support. Hey, by the way, people, let me put a pause in this for a second. Onyx, I started following her a few days ago, and I'm telling you, the vibe in her on her platform and in her live is amazing. Go and follow her, please. I posted that because I wanted, even though Dawn Rashad said that on the stand, and some people are like, hey, thank you for that heart, me, Onyx. I appreciate it. And let's give it up for Onyx for becoming the number 20 fan in my fan club. I appreciate the support. I wanted to share because some people might not believe that. Some people might not believe what Dawn Rashad is saying because when it comes to her, people were like, well, okay, you said, or she said that he did this to her and threatened her, but yet she came back and worked with him afterwards. And so, that could also make people not believe it. So I wanted to not only take what Dawn Rashad said, but I wanted to show you it happened before and at a different time. So now here's what we're going to do, because, and I can't remember her name, Carrie Morgan, that's her name. That's the ex-best friend. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome, Bessie. Thank you for being the vibrant person that you are, and thank you for being the positive person that you are. I appreciate that. Carrie Morgan's going to tell you about some incidents that happened while she was present, and she saw how Puffy Jacket done Cassie, right? Because we got to get to a point where DV is taken seriously. We've got to get to a point where SA is taken seriously. And with that being said, also, May 31st, at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, me and 4 strong women have decided to do a show on here, and it's called Real Survivors of DV and SA. These are 4 women who are strong for what they went through and made it through, and they don't consider themselves victims, they consider themselves survivors. And I think that is the most precious and powerful way of looking at it. You understand? So I want to thank them in advance for even stepping up and doing this, for giving their testimony, for giving their story. I mean, and they know that it may be triggering to them. They know that it may conjure up more feelings that they thought they had escaped, but they are willing to do it in order to save others. That, my friends, are called heroes. And that's what all 4 of these women are. Sheroes, I should say. You understand? And so I'm excited about it. I'm not excited that they had to go through the trauma. I'm not excited that they had to go through that trauma. I'm not excited that they're going to have to relive some of that trauma and dredge up some of that trauma. I'm not excited about it. But what I am excited about is the fact that they didn't let it define them. That's what I'm excited about. That's what I'm excited about. All right, so let's get into this. Let's dive into this show. So the first audio I'm going to play is by Khadijah Lynn, another powerful and great content creator. Bestie, welcome. How you doing? And like I said, she's going to give us some context as far as what Carrie Morgan said on the stand yesterday. And Carrie Morgan, like I said, that's an ex-best friend of Cassie. I'm not sure if they're still friends. She said she hadn't talked to her, and I think she said 17 years. I'm not sure. I'm going to let her tell you. But she also tells you why she hasn't spoke to Cassie in that long. And I also want to show you how I hope you're paying attention and can look and can listen and go deeper into that, because the reason why they are not friends or haven't talked in so long, it shows how Cassie was pretty much brainwashed. She was pretty much brainwashed. Okay? Now, yes, today, David James is supposed to be on the stand. And let's see what the update is so far. It says James, who returns to the stand today, said he suggested Cassie leave Puffy Jacket if she was uncomfortable. To which he said she replied, I can't, get out. You know, Mr. Puffy Jacket oversees so much of my life. Now, this was a man, if I'm not mistaken, he is her sister. Good morning, Marie. How you doing, Bestie? For those who don't know who David James is, that was an assistant of Puffy Jacket that saw him abuse Cassie. And it was so bad to the point he quit. He just quit. So that's telling too. Second thing is David James, who served as Combs' personal assistant for a few years, started crying as he testified that when he, listen people, when he interviewed for the job, one of Puffy Jacket's lieutenants pointed to a photo of Puffy Jacket on the wall and told him, this is Mr. Puffy Jacket's kingdom. We're all here to serve him. So for those of you who have a hard time understanding what the Ricardo charges is, just pointed out the fact that he has an operation of crime. And that's how we get here. Okay? I hope I conveyed that to you good enough or well enough, right? But also take into concept of what he just said. This was a grown man. And he started crying on the stand, thinking back on what he saw Puffy Jacket do to not only Cassie, but to other people. And we wonder. We don't wonder. We don't, but some people wonder why she stayed or why she didn't leave and this and that and the other, as if she didn't try and if she didn't have to suffer consequences when she did try. Y'all don't hear me though. I'm going to go ahead and play the audio. By the way, from what they're saying, court is it's temporarily what you call it, delayed. Something about a train in New York. If for those of you that live in New York, if you've been in New York, you know how the trains go and operate, and it's very vital when it gets to people for people's transportation in the city. So it's delayed for whatever because of train issues. But let's go ahead and dive into Khadijah Tell. I mean, not Khadijah Tell, excuse me, Khadijah Lynn.
It's day 6 of the Diddy trial, and Cassie Ventura's former best friend, Carrie Morgan, is giving her testimony against Diddy. The government first asked Carrie Morgan, "Where do you live?" Los Angeles, and then they show her a photo and ask her, "Who is this?" Cassie Ventura. "What was your relationship?" "We were best friends, and her boyfriend assaulted me." "Do you see him here?" "Yes, in that yellow sweater." Let the record reflect that the witness has identified Sean Combs. "Why are you here?" "Because I got subpoenaed." "Where did you live with Cassie?" "In Manhattan." "Did Cassie drink?" "Not much." "Any illegal substances?" "None." "What was she doing for work?" "Modeling, and then she recorded me and you." "When did you learn that her and Sean Combs were dating?" "In 2007. "Did you ever travel with Cassie and Mr. Combs?" "Yes." "What substances did Mr. Combs provide?" "Molly,
We love
green,
TikTok Shop.
E." "Which did Mr. Combs take?" "All." "Did you take substances alone with Cassie?" "Opiates."
We love
"How did
TikTok
Mr.
Shop.
Combs act?" "He would yell at Cassie. She lost her confidence big time. She lost her spark." "Did
Pause. So stop right there. What did she just say? Her best friend told the who's asking the questions? Hold on. Morgan. I mean, U.S. Oh, so okay. So it's the prosecutor asking these questions, and she just said he basically broke Cassie down. She lost her spark, and we said this yesterday during the show that people who groom and set up people, or the people who do the things that uh, Puffy Jacket does, that's what they do. They basically reel you in by being nice, giving you gifts, showering you with stuff, and then they slowly dissect and break you down piece by piece. Jessica, how you doing? Good morning, bestie. It break you down piece by piece, which is what he done to Cassie. He broke her down, people. All right. So, and another thing we're gonna cover. You know what? No, I'm getting in my feelings. Hold on. We're gonna let it play.
Mr. Combs talk down to Cassie?" "Yes." "About her looks and who she talked to?" "Did he contact you looking for her?" "A lot. Sometimes he would call 50 times in a row." "Would any other people call you for him?" "Yes, Christina Korm or KK." "Did you witness assaults?" "Yes. First in the Hollywood Hills. Ruben was one of his security guards." "What did Mr. Combs do to Cassie?" "He kicked her." "What did she do?" "Nothing. I told Ruben to do something, and he indicated that he wouldn't." "Then what?" "We left the house. Cassie and I were hiding by somebody's front steps."
Pause. Do me a favor. For the people we got in here, put a one in the live if you know that kicking somebody is an assault. Put a one in the live. If you know that, put a one in the live. Okay. Keep them coming. Okay. Put a one in the live. You know that's an assault. Thank y'all for the ones that put one. Thank you. Thank you. Yep, Jessica is right. So is spitting on someone. Exactly, an assault. Exactly. Okay. All right. Sharita, how you doing, bestie? I didn't see you come in. How you doing? I want to break this. I want the reason I'm pointing this out because she just said on the stand, Puffy Jacket kicked Cassie. That's an assault. That's the assault. Assault is a crime, correct? Am I correct on that? Assault is a crime. Am I right? Assault is a crime. Okay. Okay. We got that covered. Now, the security guard that was there, they went and told the security guard what Puffy Jacket did to Cassie as far as kicking her, which we just said is an assault, and we just said that assault is a crime. And he did nothing about it. Now we have people who are enabling criminal activity that work for Puffy Jacket, which gives us Ricardo charges. Because he's not the only one. He's not the only one that was working for Puffy Jacket that knew about all of these things going on and turned a blind eye. What did we say that Mr. James said a few minutes ago when we was reading his comments? When he went for the interview, the person who was taking him or doing the interview pointed to the picture of Puffy Jacket and basically said, that's King Puffy Jacket. It's his kingdom. We are here to serve him. You see how it's all coming together? See, we told y'all, just let the trial play out. It's going to all start forming and taking shape into how we get to that. All right? Now, with this case, even after they told the security officer and a security guard, and he did nothing about it, what did they have to go do? They had to run and hide by a neighbor's staircase. That sounds like fear to me. That sounds like fear to me. If you got kicked by your significant other, and then you and your homegirl or your homeboy, y'all had to run out the house, go to a neighbor's house, and crunch out and hide by the steps. Sounds like fear to me. And it don't sound like she wanted it. Sounds like fear to me. I could be wrong though. What do I know?
And the next time, in Jamaica, I saw him drag her by the hair. I ran back to get my purse and my phone so we could leave. What did you see next? I thought that she was knocked out, and then she got up and she ran into a wooded area. What happened next? There were 2 golf carts in the driveway. I got in one and Sean got in the other. We went in different directions looking for Cassie. Did you find her? Yes, and then we hid in a ditch whispering to each other.
Stop. In Jamaica. Her friend thought she was knocked out from him abusing her. Why didn't she leave? She just got knocked out when she wasn't leaving. She just got knocked out when she was still right there with him. So what do you think would have happened? And what do you think did happen the times that she did try to leave? Are we making sense here, people? Jenny says the men in the industry were afraid of Puffy Jacket. Why wouldn't the ladies be too? I gotta give you both, bestie. I gotta give you both, bestie. That's what I'm trying to get at. Jenny says it takes a victim 7 times before they finally have enough and leave for real. And this is spoken from someone who has endured this same type of abuse. Telling you this. How dare we act like it's her fault? How dare we act like she's not a victim? How dare we? So now in Jamaica, her friend went to get her keys and her purse so they could leave, turned around, and when she saw it, she thought her friend was unconscious. She thought Puffy Jacket had knocked her out. To the point where they had, Carlos, how you doing, brother? How you doing this morning? To the point where they had to run. Cassie ran and hid in the woods. Does that sound like somebody that wanted? She hid in the woods. Her friend went and got a golf cart. Puffy Jacket went and got another golf cart. They both went to separate ways to try to find her. Her best friend was looking for her to probably try to save her and comfort her, I had to imagine. Whereas Puffy Jacket went to try to find her, probably to give her some more abuse. and probably to hide what he had already done to her. Yet you have people saying she wanted it. That don't sound like she wanted it. Am I making sense up here today? Am I making sense up here today? Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to cover the other thing that people want to talk about too. We're going to cover that too.
What about the incident at Cassie's Comstock apartment? Cassie came back with a hoodie covering her face, and then Sean came and tried to get in, hitting the door with a hammer.
I'm doing good,
and
brother.
I called D-Rock.
Thank you
and
for
this is
asking.
after that 2016 hotel incident that Cassie talked about in her testimony. Did he get in? No. And then the police came. What happened?
Stick around, Chris.
Cassie wouldn't show them her ID. Nothing happened. They left a card. Read this message. Did you send an attachment? Yes, a photo of the card that the detective left. Did Mr. Combs ever assault you? Yes, he hit me with a wood coat hanger and choked me. Where did the hanger hit you?
Stick around, Chris.
Behind my right ear. What did he express concerns about? Who Cassie was cheating on him with? Who did you
brought
speak
up
to
something.
about it?
Stick around.
Ryan, Sean's old assistant. What did he do? Nothing. And she shrugs. I haven't spoken to Cassie since.
Right,
And then
Bessie.
Carrie went on to state that Cassie Ventura offered her $30,000 to sign an NDA for Diddy. That way she would never talk about Diddy assaulting her.
Here's what I'm talking about right there, the abuse. The mental abuse. You see, her friend even stated that Puffy Jacket assaulted her and choked her. But by Cassie being so broken and so, man, I want to say a word on here, but I know how sensitive TikTok is. So brainwashed, we'll say that. So brainwashed that she told her friend, we'll offer you $30,000 to not tell nobody that he abused you. And you see, yes, Bestie, Sharita, manipulated. Yes, she's so manipulated. It's to a point now where she is so brainwashed, so manipulated, so broken, so hurt by this man that instead of saying to her or looking out for her best friend's safety and saying, yeah, we both need to get away from here, it became normal. It got to a point where she couldn't even see that the abuse was wrong. Am I making sense to y'all today? Oh, we ain't holding back today. We got to go in. We got to go in. Thank all of y'all for being here. I appreciate it. Keep double tapping the screen, please. Gift and uplift and share if you care. But let's get into this work.
And she claimed that she would take this money, and then this is when she never spoke to Cassie again since this incident after 17 years.
A lot of
friendship.
gaslighting.
Greg
You're
Morgan
right.
is now
I
giving
can't-
her
I- who said that?
cross-examination testimony.
Thank you for that heartbeat. I
Days
appreciate
later,
that.
ask Carrie Morgan.
Thank you
You
so
were
much,
Miss
Amanda
Ventura's
Sweet
best
Treat.
friend since 2004. Actually, 2001. We met while waiting for Polaroids to develop. I was living
Listen.
in Buffalo, and she was in Connecticut. Then you were both in New York City. I stayed downtown, and she moved to Harlem.
Turn your volume
Have you
up.
ever met Kim Porter? Yes, probably at a concert. Was Cassie ever jealous? Yes. And the other way around? Cassie was speaking with Michael B. Jordan, and Sean got jealous. She was trying to leave him. You were both using substances? No, we were in South Africa. Did you learn about Gina? Yes. He was having a full-on relationship with this little girl. Why did you call her that? She acts like that. She's younger than us. When you say Sean came and hammered on the door, why did the police come? They said because of the noise. What did they say to you? Cassie was visibly injured, but she didn't say anything. You two were best friends for 18 years, but now you haven't spoke with her since 2018? That's true. At the danger of being capital obvious, that's a long time. She's moved on. Objection. Why haven't you spoken with her? She did not support me after Sean assaulted me. I tried that line at assault.
See what I'm saying? That's why they not talking. That's why in the now it's the um defense attorney asking the questions, but he's trying to paint a narrow. That's your best friend, and you haven't talked to her. Trying to basically discredit her stories. Now look, that's why they're not talking no more, because her friend was abused by Puffy Jacket, and Cassie didn't take up for her or take her side. Again, mentally broken to the point where abuse, you could be abused, and the abuser says he's okay, or he's apologizing and saying he's sorry and he won't do it again, and she's like, okay. And so she expected her friend to do the same thing. But keep listening.
You reached a settlement with Miss Ventura? That money came from Mr. Combs. Diddy's lawyer then shows Carrie Morgan photos and says, do you know if Louise Hayes is a self-help author about self-affirmation? Yes. Why did you send him this with words of encouragement? I don't remember sending it. Okay. I want to show you a few more photos, but first let's talk about the incident where you say he put hands on your neck. Were you and Cassie using any substances at that time? No. What did he say? He said, who is she cheating with? You went to the urgent care and not the hospital? Right. But didn't you tell prosecutors it was bloody and you went to the hospital? I don't remember that. Look at this 3,500 material not shown to the jury. And that's basically what she would have told the feds in her first interview with them. I see that I said that, and now it gets redirected back to the government. The government then asked, do you remember Mr. Agnifilo asking you about an incident in LA? And he hit her in Jamaica, arguing about jealousy? What happened in Jamaica? He dragged Cassie by her hair, a 50-yard hallway. Was he talking about jealousy? No, he said.
Hey Renee, no, this is Carrie Morgan's testimony yesterday when she was on trial. I mean, on the stand at the trial.
That she spent too long in the bathroom. And this was it. This is Carrie Morgan's full.
So hold on, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? The whole thing, the whole reason why he almost knocked this girl out. Oh, you're welcome, Renee. Thank you for joining us, by the way. The whole reason he even assaulted her is because she took too long in the bathroom. That's it. But she wanted it. She wanted it, right? And this is what people are saying.
Full testimony against Diddy. Now they are starting with the couple minutes they have left with one of Diddy's personal assistants, David James. But
okay, I told you all he's going to continue his testimony today, the David James. And like I said before or prior in here, this is a grown man who was an assistant to a personal assistant to Puffy Jacket. And just thinking back on what he had seen and witnessed from the abuse that Puffy Jacket did to Cassie and others, but mainly Cassie, made this grown man break down on the stand yesterday and cry. Let's just let that sink in. Oh, and there was another part on there. I don't know if y'all heard it. I was talking, but a lot of people were saying, well, she stayed because of the money. Let's dive into this real quick. Her best friend said that they met while modeling. Cassie had a modeling career before she got into the singing industry part, right? And she was making like $1 million a year. So for those who say she went for the money, understand something. She was already making her own money. I don't know how hard it is for people to understand or to pay attention or even to remember. Puffy Jacket said in one of his videos when he's in his office, what I want, I get. You understand? Thank you for the love you so much, Jerry B. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. He said that. Yeah, she was trapped. Absolutely. She's very trapped. By the time she figured out what was going on, she was already caught up in it, right? But understand, he kept trying to shower her with presents and gift and basically uh, reel her in with his niceness and making her think that he was really into her. And I'm not saying he really wasn't into her, but what I'm saying is I think he was more so into breaking her. You understand? Yes, in the cycle of abuse. That's what I'm getting at. You see what I'm saying? So let's put that to rest because Cassie was making her money too. She was making her own money. All right. So let's put that to rest. All right, hold on. So let me check up on the trial and see if they have started anything. No, not as of yet. Not as of yet. All right. So Chris, first of all, welcome to hashtag I'm gonna say it. And the reason why I told you to stick around is because you brought up Gene Deal. Okay. And I'm going to play some more audio. Once again, I gotta ask: is everybody cool? Everybody straight? You can hear the audio good. You can hear me good. We rocking and rolling, right? Everything straight. Put a one in the live. We good. He says, I think he was happy he found someone who would indulge in his weirdo kinks, unlike him who didn't. That's fair. I agree with you. Orlando, welcome in. Orlando Terrell, a lot of men do that to women to help them do things for them. Yeah, you're right. They have an ulterior motive. You're right. Correct, Orlando. All right. All right. I got ones in here. Everybody's good. We rocking and rolling. So here's what we're going to do with the next segment. Since they hadn't started anything as far as a trial yet, we don't have any updates on that. We're going to go to a second segment. And the second segment is by the Art of Dialogue. And Chris, my man Chris, you said Gene Deal. And it says Gene Deal exposes Puffy Jacket dirty tactics in court for sympathy by showing gray hair and making heart signs. Okay, so now here we have it where Puffy Jacket is in court and he's still trying to play a part. He's still trying to play a part. And I'm not saying he's wrong for that. I'm not saying he's wrong for that because I'm sure he wants to get out and continue doing whatever he was doing before. I'm sure he wants his freedom. You got to think about it and put it in perspective. You have a person who is used to ruling over everybody else and controlling everybody else and having power over everybody else, who's now incarcerated and has no power. Well, I'm sure he has some power with other inmates, but that's a whole nother story for a different show. Jenny says Puffy Jacket used romance pimping to keep Cassie compliant mixed with violence. Right, exactly. Didn't the guy say that? And I can't remember his name, but he did an interview and he was talking about the 3 phases of pimping, basically. And Puffy Jacket did all 3 of them. Remember? If you didn't, it's on my page. Go and look at it. Sharita Bessie says, yes, sir, he has power. Exactly. So now you got to think he's in a compromising situation to where he's not the one with the car. He don't have the power. He's at other people's mercy. So he's chumming it up in court and trying to basically make himself the victim. You see what I'm saying? But let's get into it. Let's see what Gene Deal got to say.
Cassie also testified that she was in over 100 freakos to the point that it took over her career.
Yeah, that was a freak out. That was a 10 album deal.
How many has retracted statements? Not many. Not that I know of. There's been a couple of people who were supposed to come testify and they decided not to. Now, thing about that is we don't know if they just chose not to come on their own or if they were coached not to do it. Angel says, what was so funny? I didn't lie. I wasn't laughing, Bessie. Jenny said, Gene is just as guilty as Puffy Jacket. He did nothing but sit by and watch. That was her 10 album deal and laughed. Oh yeah. Right. No, I don't know what the funny part was about that. I really don't know what that was. You're right, Bessie. I don't know why they was laughing at that. The reason why I stopped it is because I wanted to point out something. You see, he had already had this in mind or in play what he was going to do with her. And you got to understand, he said he signed her to a 10 album deal. Now, understand, he knew he wasn't going to promote the other 10 album unless she did and complied with everything he wanted. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I have to agree. Now, from what Gene is saying, he wasn't there during the Cassie period. He wasn't there. Now, I'm not sure. I don't want to put him, I don't want to basically accuse him of this, but I do think he was around for the Misa and the Mary J. Blige. There was somebody else that I'm missing. There's somebody else that I'm missing. I think he was there for that. And yes, you're right. He didn't say anything, which is pretty bad because he worked, if I'm not mistaken, he was in law enforcement in New York. Shira, good morning. Says, according to her, she recorded hundreds of songs unreleased. It was a control tactic. Exactly. Now, Shira, I'm glad you brought that up. Let me give you this right here. Let me ask you this, or let me ask all of y'all this. Is it or is it not true that a lot of his other artists have stated the same thing? So let's not blame Cassie. Let's not blame Cassie, right? I'm sure she got in it to actually make music because that's what she loved. And you got to understand something, people. When you go into something blindly, and what I mean by blindly is you're pure, you're thinking it's just going to be, and I'll use this, I will just use this case. Cassie probably went in thinking, okay, we're just going to make music. I'm going to be a singer. This is what happens, right? And then had no idea what sinister stuff he had planned for her already. She had no idea that she was going to be his toy, his I can't say the S word, but y'all know what I mean. His smecks, you know what? She didn't crack for that. Shira says all those hours in the studio helped him keep tabs on her, control her. Yeah, exactly. You see, whenever she talked to somebody else, what happened? He beat her. Even when she was talking to other producers to help make music with him and make them more money, what did he do? Beat her. Why? Because she was talking to another producer. Come on, people. Tiffany said, read my comment above, please, if you can. Okay. Hold on. Let me scroll up. The act. Okay. Did y'all catch the part where he allegedly mother watched them and told him to go rough on her in the act? Whoa, wait, hold on. Who, Tiffany? Stop. Hold on. Who said that, Tiffany? Pan Africa Media. No, we're not reaching. And okay, so if she introduced him to that lifestyle, which is crazy, it's crazy, but I'm gonna give you a few minutes. If she introduced him to that lifestyle, why didn't she do that lifestyle with her other boyfriends? Why haven't her other boyfriends said, yeah, she did the same thing with me. We did the same thing. Why? And they did that to who? No, she said that she went with it to please him. She did say that. She did say that she did it to please him. But I'm talking about initially going in. You said she had this lifestyle before, and I'm telling you to prove to me where she did. And if she did have that lifestyle before, why didn't any of her other boyfriends prior to him come and say that they done the same thing or she did the same thing with them? However, we just posted a video, or I shared a video with people earlier today where in 1998 there was a commercial out where you had Derek Jeter, you had Nicole Richie, you had Fat Joe already talking about these kind of things. So let me ask you something, Pan Africa Media. If that was in 98 that he was already having these parties and he didn't meet Cassie until the 2000s and something, who had this lifestyle going first? Okay, Marie says, can you read my post, please? Okay, where is it at? I'm going up now. Okay, even if he introduced the lifestyle, that's not a crime. But the beating, that is a crime. Yes, that's a crime. That is a crime. And then also, paying people, I'm talking about people that work for him, cover it up. You understand? Like you can't do that. You can't do that. That's where they're getting the criminal organization from. That's where the Ricardo charges are really coming from. You know what I mean? That's where it's really coming from. Man, if I see he's not on trial for DV one more time, no, he's not on trial for DV. What they're trying to do, I think, right now is establish a pattern of behavior, right? And I do think they're creating the framework or foundation to build upon to get to the Ricardo charges, if that makes sense. You understand? All right, let's get into it.
Freak Off was her 10-album deal, brother. Instead of making music, she was making muse. And he thought he was getting his muse by seeing this young girl doing the things that she was doing.
How you feel about Diddy daughters leaving the trial when Cassie started to testify about all the sexual acts that she engaged in with their dad?
I believe that his daughters had no business up in that courtroom.
Yeah, me too.
And I know that they want the jurors to see that he has a family, he has that moral support from them. But see, the prosecution and the defense, especially the defense, had already told Diddy.
But hold on, let me pause that real quick because a comment I saw. Hold on, I don't know who it was. Hold on, but I seen it last second. See, LaGreet, I get it, but it all just seems like an overreach by the government. All right, and then Shira95 says also, witness after witness is claiming she legit couldn't leave, was trapped. That's trafficking. Right now, we just played audio from her best friend that took the stand yesterday, and she gave accounts. It's baffling to me that all these people are giving accounts. All these people, she's even stated the times that she tried to leave and get with someone else. Kid Cudi, Michael B. Jordan, he threatened them to leave her alone. She had to come back. It baffles me that how many times did Kim Porter say she tried to date somebody, or if he thought she was talking to somebody, what he would do to her. Same pattern of behavior. It baffles me that people are enabling his abuse to women. Exactly, he did. That was Kid Cudi, Bessie. He the car. That's so baffling to me. Shira95 says security just standing there watching it going after her after he to drag her back. Right. They even went to go get her to bring her back to him. You understand? Even his assistant just was saying on the stand yesterday what he saw. That's a grown ass man that broke down and cried from the things that he's seen. And y'all are on here defending Puffy Jacket? No, sir. No, ma'am. Won't do it. Won't do. I tell you what, you go out there and you do the same exact thing that he was doing. Let's see how far you get. Let's see how far you get.
How they was gonna go, because they know their game plans. They know what they're gonna go at and what they're gonna talk about. And they know they was gonna bring those things up.
It's
And
wild,
how dare
Carlos.
you have your daughters
It's
in
wild,
there.
man. I can't understand it.
Maybe
If your neck looks like this, you need to watch this video. When you sit at your
Hold on,
desk
that's a
or
commercial real quick. Hold on. 1 second. Let me pause this real quick. Cause I seen Kel says, when are we gonna discuss Puffy Jacket's level of deprived behavior? Cassie is not on trial. I love that. I love that. Yeah, when are we gonna get there? When are we gonna talk about how he would hold food from them? How he would hold them basically captive. Like when, that's what I'm saying. I'm really not understanding. Jenny says the fact that Brandon is free from charges tells me he set up Puffy Jacket. You said Brand who is Brandon? Tiffany said he told them on making the band to walk wherever miles away and get him cheesecake. Yeah, that did happen. Oh yeah, I forgot about him. The one they apprehended him at the airport, right? Am I right? He was the mule, right? I know. Yeah. I know you talking about Bessie. Right. That is true. Shira said he's paying folks to wear free Puffy Jacket T-shirts in front of court. Wonder how many influences he's paying. Yeah, that's what I'm. See what I'm saying? That's what it. So for people who aren't guilty of anything, they don't go to these extremes like paying people to wear free them shirts. People who are not guilty of anything don't react the same way he's reacting. People who aren't guilty of anything, a mass majority of people don't have the same story. Michael Johnson, welcome in, brother. Says as soon as people stop normalizing it, only then will people have a chance of changing. Let's pin that. Let's pin that because we're seeing a lot of people on here that's trying to normalize it. Knowing good and hell well, if it was their daughter or their mother, they'd be ready to knock the soul out this man.
nobody do them like that. No matter how famous they want to be. Maybe that's their deterrent. But for have your kids up there to hear some of the nasty shit that you did, and they know you used to fight their mother, they know that you used to do certain things with their mother. That was one of the craziest moves I ever seen. Very selfish.
What I say? What did I say on the show last week? The fact that, and I think it was me and, was it Chi? I think me and Chi was talking when she was in the panel. The fact of the matter that his kids, I feel like one, especially the girls, but like I said, I know Christian is his and Kim's son, but Christian moves differently, right? He's like a baby Puffy Jacket, so I just exclude him from this. But the girls, their daughters, they were in court and had to hear the freaky, nasty stuff that the dad done. But on top of that, you also have to hear the fact that your father possibly unalived your mother. And we got to know that I'm sure they probably heard some of the abuse going on. I'm thinking. I could be wrong. So, but then to hear what he's done to her. You understand? Yeah, King and Justin. That's right. Jenny says King and Justin are just like Puffy Jacket and learned his behavior. Exactly. And in fact, if you remember, Bestie, in that documentary, when they was at the party with the red lights in like it's like a living room thing. And the red lights was on. Was it not Justin was over there talking to one of the girls? I'm just saying, like you said, learn behavior.
I don't want my daughters to hear me, you know, how they talk about this girl, talking about how I beat her.
She
how I
don't.
did this,
She don't,
peeing on
Michael.
my
She
balls.
just telling her truth.
Nah. I heard it was so disgusting that one time they had to walk out. There's certain things you don't do.
They still chose to be with him. You're right to a point, Lori. To a degree, you're right. They did choose to still be with him. However, they did try to leave and got beat. They did try to leave and got threatened, or their family got threatened, and they did see him carry out some of his threats. So that might be the reason why they stayed.
Do as a real man. And that just goes to show you,
Bessie said, "You remember when Puffy Jacket
brother
was
ain't never been a real
talking
man.
to Gunna?
I was on your channel
Hope he
some
has
days ago,
that
and
special
you was
prayer
on live,
for
and you made a
himself."
comment
I
saying
do,
that
Bessie.
you
I do
wanted to go
remember
to the
that.
court
You
so
right.
you can look at Diddy and D-Rock in their eyes because of something they said about you.
Diddy and D-Rock did a video on me some years ago. And they got these clowns out here replaying it, and he was talking about me, and I was wondering, you know, like, out of all the stuff that I told him about, I told him that night that when Big died, when Big got murdered, that we shouldn't go
We
to
love
his
TikTok
party.
Shop.
I told him that if we don't do something about these doors and do this, some people's gonna die at City College. It's a couple other incidents that we were in that I had told him prior to this stuff going down that something was gonna happen, and it happened. And I don't know if it's because I may be blessed by God or I'm just a fool, because I was raised with that old saying that the Lord watch out for fools and babies. So out of all this stuff and the stuff that he's done to me personally behind the scenes, you understand, telling people not to F with me, telling people if they...
Protection
That's
can mean
smart.
shielding those you love.
I missed your comment, Bess. You said he knew all of this and did nothing, so he's guilty of Biggie's passing too. Yeah. Now, yeah. So I don't. That part I don't understand because he did know all of this, and I don't know if he's. I don't know. I don't. You're right. I don't have an answer for. I'm not going to even sit here and try to make up anything for him. I don't know. Michael Johnson says her career, her wanting to expand her brand. Yeah, that shouldn't have been a crime. She didn't deserve what she got just because she wanted to do that. Right, Michael Johnson.
Gonna work in the industry, they was gonna this, that, other. Then sending these old sucker industry dudes after me. I was just saying, listen here,
Facts. There's a lot of guilty people involved.
I think the greatest, and I wanna say, get back was him to see me in court, and I look him up in his face,
Oh, I thought you was talking about Cassie.
and I say, I don't wanna hear that shit,
I agree, Carlos. Money kept him quiet.
and walk out the courtroom.
Why you ain't go?
I'm in St. Louis, brother. I will be there soon.
What did D-Rock say out of curiosity?
No, they was just, D-Rock was just being his hype man about, you know, a security personnel that ain't got no business talking about what he was talking about, because I don't owe you nothing. Brother, you owe me your life. Because had I not told our driver to run the next 3 lights, we'd have been sitting at that light. And those guns that hit Big may have hit you and may have hit me.
Let me stop right there because I'm gonna tell you right now. I have no respect for D-Rock. I have no respect for D-Rock. So when we blaming now, if what they're saying is true, I'm gonna say that if what they're saying is true, what he's saying is true, and some more. No, and Cassie said it too. So if what they're saying is true, when we go and we talk about Biggs unaliving, I think we're right in blaming Puffy Jacket for it, but we also got to blame D-Rock. Sorry, hold on. We also have to blame D-Rock, and D-Rock, to me, being Big's best friend before the music thing, I hold him more accountable because that was your man pots and pan before the music thing even happened. With Gene, yeah, he was there and he knew all of this. I think that's why Gene's talking now. I think Gene is talking now because he tried to tell them people were coming for him that night. I think he blames himself because he feels like he guarded the wrong person that night. The person that his story is the person that, and I'm telling you, a lot of the things he's saying, I've actually been and stood at the intersection where it happened. I've been there. So a lot of the things that he's saying correlates with how it looks, the setup there. The building is different now. The Petersen Museum is different now. It's like red and silver. It's not like it was back in the 90s. But, and by the way, that intersection still harbors a lot of sorrow. But him saying that the person, the guy that allegedly is the man, was coming towards Puffy Jacket first, and then he intercepted and deterred, made him detour another way, and then he thinks he got in the car in the corner, and then that's when they pulled up. That's what happened. All right, that's what he thinks. So I think he feels like, hey, and that might be why he's talking to Bessie, because he does feel that way, because that plays on his conscience that he knew and hasn't said nothing for so long. So maybe that's why his conscience was getting to him, and now he's coming out and saying it now. Bessie, I saw your comment, Marie. I'm sorry. I blame D-Rock because D-Rock helped Puffy Jacket basically lure Big out of the hotel and to the event that night at the Petersen Museum, Automotive Museum, which led to this incident happening right here. Yeah, well, Gene been talking for years, and I honestly, and he stated himself that it bothers him. It bothers him that he was right there when Big took his last breath, and he already said that it didn't have to be that way. He had gave them the intel that he had been told. Puffy Jacket didn't listen. I don't think that Big Gene knew or felt that Puff had the evil intent on what happened. I don't think that. You understand? I don't think that, but it did play out like it played out, and I think that it bothers him. He said himself out his own mouth that it bothers him, and that's why he went and talked to Big's mom. Same thing he did with Wolf's mom. He went and talked to Wolf's mom about it. And with both of them, Puffy Jacket has a history of being disrespectful to other men's moms. Makes me wonder how he was with his mom,
Because
auntie.
Big whole door was shot up, his door and the door behind him, and I was sitting behind.
Yes, and that's why he's paying Sting
The reason I
all
told
that money
our
every
driver
time the
to
song
run
come
the
on.
next 3 lights was because I had just took a course from the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and it was surveillance and interrogation. And I was blessed to remember, run 3 lights or take 3 rights. And I told our driver to run the 3 lights, the next 3 lights. Not that particular light, but the next 3 lights, run them. So him and D-Rock did what they did, and
Puffy Jacket stole from all
I
his
think me
artists.
being
They
in the
all have
courtroom,
said the same
looking him
thing.
in his face and
Exactly,
walking
Bessie.
out.
So I don't know why people don't understand that. This man is a snake. His character isn't good,
be poetic justice.
and he's guilty of everything, I think.
What you think about Cassie testifying that D-Rock would tell her to put an ice pack on her face after, Diddy would beat her up?
That was the cover up from security. Security had to
Okay,
make
so yeah,
sure
he wasn't
that
there
D-Rock
during the Cassie
was
time.
the cover up man.
Oh
to
yeah,
make sure
Michael, Craig
Cassie
Mack.
didn't be seen
Craig was about to go,
with
yeah,
her
yeah.
face bruised
that
and
part.
battered. D-Rock had that type of charm with the women too, that he probably could do that with her. So that's why he put D-Rock up to do it.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Let's remember, Bestie. D-Rock was head of security when Cassie was there. That's how he was able to basically tell her what Gina's just saying, telling her to put the ice pack on her bruises and stuff when Puffy Jacket abused her. I forgot about that. So it makes you wonder, did he make D-Rock head of security because of his participation or his help in getting Big to the party? Not saying it's true. Just saying, could be a connection. Jenny says the only one who ever said anything was Al B. Al B's been and what did and Bestie, what did Al B have to go through by stating the truth? And that's a grown man. That's a grown man. So we expecting a woman. We expecting something from a woman that a grown men, not just Al B, grown men, because there's more, didn't even do.
How you feel about Diddy appearance in court? They saying that he got all gray hair, his facial hair, his hair is all gray. He got a gray sweater on. Like, how you feel about his appearance?
Well, first of all, he can't use that stuff in court. He can't get that behind bars. So his appearance, you think Diddy wants somebody to see him looking like an old man? He can't do nothing about that because they're not going to let him dye his hair in jail. So he's going out as natural. He could cut his hair low. You understand what I'm saying? But he can't use any dye. They're not going to give him no dye to take or dye his hair. That's not a choice. That's something that he has to do. Mm-hmm. And him throwing signs of the heart,
none at all,
like that back to his family and stuff. I don't believe the jurors, like that or even care about that.
Yeah, they reported that he got a Bible with him, like he's reading the Bible during trial.
All that is a front, bro. What happens is that the defense is trying to have him distract himself. So they know it's a possibility that he might break on somebody, break down, or do something. So what they're trying to do, well, read over this, look over this. You understand? So they don't show the real you. Because once the jury find out that's the real him, and he is capable not only beating and threatening somebody and making them have sex.
We love TikTok Shop.
Making them go to this place, that place, all over to have sex.
We love TikTok Shop.
Then that's when the trafficking part comes in.
We love TikTok Shop.
That's when what she said about him having the guns to go get Suge Knight.
We love TikTok Shop.
Makes it true. Makes it him possessing guns.
We
or
love
being
TikTok
able
Shop.
to possess guns being true.
We love TikTok
So
Shop. Come on, G.
They see all that, and all that comes about. That's what's gonna make him get convicted because they're gonna see his true self
Okay, and that concludes that part right there. That concludes that part right there. So again, I let me see. No, there's still nothing happening on the trial. So we have a pattern of behavior, people, regardless if people try to run from it or not try to address it or identify it. The thing about it is, yes, Cassie did stay. She did stay. However, for the ones that's making it seem like she stayed because she liked it, is wrong. You're wrong. You're just wrong. Because she did try to leave. And every time she tried to leave, she faced abuse. And not only her friend, he abused her friend, allegedly. Friends. That's multiple. That's multiple. In case those who don't recognize the S at the end of the word, that means it was more than one. Friends. When she did try to leave, we heard one, Carrie Morgan. She told you. Then the other day, there was Cassie was saying when she left him and went to the apartment, he came to her apartment with 2 security guards, kicked the door down or in or whatever, assaulted her and assaulted her friends. Well, her friends jumped on his back to try to prevent him. Hey, Grand Rising to you, little brother. How you doing? It's amazing that people still ride for Puff over there. Yeah, I'm blown. My mind is blown. Like I'm really trying to, because me and one of my moderators, and Bestie Jenny, we talked, and she's like, hey man, we're doing great. We're doing great, but you can't conduct the show and still like get at people when they have a difference of opinion. So I'm trying to stay calm and stay within that, because like I told y'all, whether y'all know it or not, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm scared of Jenny. Okay? I'm scared of her. Okay. She don't play no game. So I'm trying to do that, but respectfully. I'm trying to also get them to understand that I get it, you feel that way, and I really can actually see how you feel that way, but it's not that way. All right? It's not, Bessie, I'm being honest. I'm being transparent. But it's not that way. It's not like she loved it, like hit me, give me more, beat me. No, oh, I'm not gonna. No, she tried to leave, and every time she tried to leave, the man went to the extreme of a guy's car that she was talking to. You understand? Or he goes and talks to Michael B. Jordan. He goes and basically tells him, hey, leave her alone. Stay away from her. Don't you ever contact her. And they're afraid, so they do it. They listen. You know what I mean? I don't know how it's hearsay, brother, when they've said it in court, on the stand. And law, and it's, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get this. I don't get this. Now, and then people say, well, that's DV at best, but he's not on trial for DV. It's as if you got blinders on and you refuse or refuse to look at the fact that the people he had working for him, that was around him, that allowed these crimes to happen, is what they are charging him with the Ricardo for. It is a criminal operation. Understand? Right, Shira 95. It was an organization. I'm going to pronounce this right, I think. Ibi Lolo says it feels like the reach is the Ricardo. What? No, it's the fact of using your companies as a front to allow you or to enable you to carry out said crimes. That's not the reach. Okay, let me put it to you this way. I have my own t-shirt printing company. All right? If I take my company and let's say somebody orders a shirt, right? Let's say I take their shirt or shirts. Let's say they ordered a bulk order. I take the box with the shirts that they ordered and I put some more packages in there. Come on, you follow me when I'm saying packages, right? If I put extra packages in their box or package with t-shirts, I am now using my company as a front to transport narcotics. That is wrong. They can get me on it, especially when I have other people working with me on it and they know what I'm doing. You understand? So that's where that comes in at. But it was more than just Bad Boy Entertainment, just the record company. There was more. Um, Even with Sean John, you have the liquor stuff. You have, I mean, it's a lot of. He had a lot of other business, and I mean, it's holdings and stuff like that, and all of that. Like it's different things. You have to go into the court. Some of the lawsuits. I mean, and some people who are suing him as well as his companies, to name all of them. It's too many for me to remember. We covered it in shows prior to now, but that's where the RICO comes from. You understand? So sending a car to go and pick up this I'm gonna take Cassie for this instance, to go pick her up and bring her back so you can finish your job. You know what I mean? When I mean job, I don't mean job. You know what I mean, right? Abusing her and stuff. Like they knew what you was doing, and they brought her back. He's holding her and others and not letting them leave. He's depriving them of food. I forgot who brought that up on trial too. You understand? That was their own person. Okay, okay. I just watch the trial, baby. I can't explain it to you no better than that. You know what I mean? Like I don't know no other way to convey it to you. But if you feel like that's a reach, okay, that's you, and I understand and I respect that. Okay, all I could do was just try to convey it to you the best way I know how. And the best way I know how is he was using his other companies as a mean or a front. Not necessarily a front because they were functioning businesses, but they enabled him to carry out things. And then you had people who worked with him that helped him carry out things. You understand what I'm saying? Like KK and other people, like they was just saying, security, stuff like that, right? So again, Charlie, I'm gonna say it's the beginning. You gotta let them build up to it. They're just not gonna come out with it right now. How they are saying that it's the Ricardo charge. You got to be patient, brother, because if they jump right to it, y'all gonna be where you are right now and say, "Well, nah, you can't do that. You can't say that. You don't say." So let's let them do form the foundation and build on it. Because then when we get to the meat and potatoes of it, then we can say, okay, well, you know, they don't have nothing or that don't make sense. Right now, I think it's in the infantry stages where they building up. I get it from that point as far as because you see where in some of the lawsuits it stated that a talent agent would recruit some of these people and bring them back to New York or fly them from California to New York, and then they have a meeting with him, and then they're saying that something was slipped in their drink and he had his way with them. That talent agent knew what was going on. Therefore, we create a business enterprise that enables us to do criminal activity, which leads us to Ricardo charges. So that's where it's at, man. But hey, stranger things have happened. Stranger things can happen, But I think that's what they're saying. But I agree. I agree with you. And that's to the point where I was saying and I didn't mean any ill will or disrespect to Cassie or discredit Cassie, but that's why I was saying last week that I'll be glad when her case is over. I mean, not her case, her case. I'm sorry. Her testimony is over because while she was there, they were honing in more on the DV aspect of it, and we didn't need that. Like we need, like you said, we need Ricardo. I'm sorry, Ricardo, prove actions proven. So now that she's off the stand, maybe we can start trending towards that part. I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's what we can trend to. I don't think this is a money grab at all. I don't think it's a money grab because a lot of us knew this was going on. It just wasn't talked about. So I dare to say it's a money grab with anybody. We knew, if not all, we knew some of this stuff was going on. We just felt the same as other people did. He's in a place in a celebrity status to where he's untouchable. Nothing's going to happen to him. As I said before, we have one in office now. And so the same way people that have been abused get to a point to where the abuse becomes normal until they decide to leave, we are pretty much conditioned the same way. We have been conditioned to see that people in a celebrity status or have more fame and fortune and financially well off, they get off on everything, or they get the minimum of it. We've seen that, so we're used to that. So I'm not going to say this is a money grab. I don't think it's a money grab. I think it's finally people have had enough of the things that he was doing. And I think when he sued those people, that was the end all be all. The cover, the umbrella of protection was pulled away from him then. And so by that umbrella, okay, let's say it's sunny outside and you got the umbrella. The umbrella is going to shield you from the sun. All right? So he was under that proverbial umbrella. And then once he went and caused issue with these liquor people, or the people that he was doing business with concerning to the liquor, because regardless if they tell you or not, or regardless if you know or not, liquor makes a lot of money for our country. So they don't want anything to happen to that from coming in. And let's be honest, think about how crazy it is. Up until recently, you'd go to jail for smoking some cabbage, right? But you can find a liquor store on any street corner. Hell, in Jacksonville, there's a liquor store right there in the middle of campus on Edward Waters College, a historical black and college university. But you can go and get that easy. Now think about it. You hear more about drunk driving than you do about somebody smoking some cabbage and going out and committing crimes. Let's be honest. You smoke cabbage, you just want to cool out. The only thing you might attack is the refrigerator for snacks when you get the munchies. So, but do you see you see them doing anything about it? So when he sued those people, they were like, okay, we've been covering you long enough. We done covered up your crime. We done made sure you, because you got to think, man, he's done a lot. You know what I mean? Right. See what I'm saying? Is that Mia or Maya? You know what I mean? I'm just being honest with you. They want that to come in. They want that to come in. So when he did that, they was like, "Oh no, you messing up the Mia." Okay, thank you. And so they took the umbrella off of him. Now you exposed to that sunlight. What I mean by the sunlight is those crimes. You got to face it now. You in it. You gotta own up to what you done. That's what I think it is. But I'm not gonna sit here and just say that he hasn't. I mean, I'm just not going to, because some of the things that pretty much where I come from and what I'm saying is from some actions that he has shown. It's not really from what somebody else has said. You know what I mean? He has this aura about him to where he feels like people need to praise him. And I'm sorry, I'm only praising one thing, and that's God. So I'm not going to sit here and condone his actions and say, no, he didn't do that, he didn't do that, when clearly, if you've paid attention, he's shown you. He said it in songs. Other people have said it outside, and they don't hang out with each other. They not of the same company. And what I mean by company, I don't mean like work for. I'm talking about company as in friendship, hanging out, stuff like that, company. But they're not the same. They don't come from the same place. They don't do that. So let me tell you, if you are here on the East Coast and you go to a wrestling show and they tell you, hey, Mr. Breaking News G Smooth, man, he said it got on fire in the ring at a show. You like, nah, he ain't did that. He ain't did nothing like that. Then let's say you go over to California, or you go to Nebraska, or you go to Kansas, or you go anywhere, Illinois, and they tell you, hey, yeah. Mr. Breaking News G Smooth, man, I heard he said dude on fire. He said the dude on fire in the ring. Now, you're gonna be like, well, dang, I heard it over here on the East Coast, and now I'm hearing it out here in the Midwest or the West Coast. But I don't know, man. Like, that sounds far-fetched. But if you go on YouTube, that's me setting them on fire. You see what I'm saying? I did. It's not a lie. They didn't lie to you on the East Coast. They didn't lie to you in the Midwest. They ain't lied to you in the West Coast. Am I proud of it? No. But at the time, that's what I did. I'm a better person now. I don't do that no more. I don't do other stuff no more that got me to that point. You see what I'm saying? So I can't sit here and just say, nah, man, it's a money grab. Nah, man, he didn't do all of this, or he ain't do none. No, I'm not going. I'm not fixing to do that. Michael said it's interesting to me how no one has heard a peep from Snoop. Listen, Snoop is trying to mind his business and keep that money with Death Row Records. Right? He's trying to stay clear, right? Brianna says fact at Jenny facts. She was one of the people speaking out years ago. Sorry, I missed that. Who was speaking out years ago? Oh, Wendy. Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Hey, we always give it up for Wendy. And Bessie, glad you brought her up. Wendy was telling us this in the 90s. How dare you all have a problem believing it in 2025? That's a lot of time for you not to understand what's really going on. Hey, Shira 95 says Snoop is probably hiding out at Martha's house. Hey, get the bacon. Get the bacon. Yeah, staying low, man, you know? Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, look, I'm gonna let you go. That's for today's show. That's today's show. There's nothing going on in trial. Here we are. I don't think. Hold on. Let me check another source. Let me check another source because as of right now, there's nothing going on here. Let me check something real quick. Like, I don't want to lie to y'all. See, that's what I say. I was lying to y'all. Okay. All right. So look, let's go. 9 minutes ago, Agnifilio. He's asking. He had security because people wanted to touch him. Right. David James says yes in the airport in McDonald's. Agnifilio says Was he gracious? David James says, I don't think gracious is a word I'd use for Puffy Jacket. What did I just tell y'all? What did I just say? Oh, I know I make y'all mad up here sometimes, some of the things I say, but what did I tell you? He's a person that thinks he's a God and that he should be praised. I'm sorry, yeah. I say he's a person that thinks he needs to be praised. I only praise God. That's what I said. And what did he just tell you? Right there. Right there. Okay, let's keep it going. Agnofilio, did he sign autographs? Answer, no. Let me tell you something. If I got time, I'm going to stop and sign. I stopped and signed autographs. Rochelle, hey, bestie, how you doing? Thank you for that heart me. I stopped and signed autographs. If I had a moment, I stopped and talked to my fans. Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be nothing. You understand? So I don't get that right there. Okay. Let me see. This is 51 seconds ago. Agnophilia says, you said he'd stay in the studio until 3 or 4 a.m. and you'd stay with him. That's a question. David James says, yes, it was common. Agnophilia says, what sort of things would he want to always have with him? David James says, ketchup, for example. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know what that got to do with music, but okay. 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 This says 2 minutes ago, Puffy Jacket docket asked and answered sort of on May 15th. Okay, so let me see. Oh no, that has nothing to do. Okay, I thought that was questions. No, it's just stating it's United States of America versus Puffy Jacket. That's all. Let me refresh and see if there's more. If not, then I'll let you all have your day. All right. Agnofilio, did you know he put applesauce on cheeseburgers? Wait a minute. Now, hold on. Did I read that right? I did. I read it right. I read it right. Did you know he put applesauce on cheeseburgers? David James, no, but I knew he likes applesauce. Agnophilia, he liked Astroglide condoms and hold on, wait, whoa, okay. He liked Astroglide protection and baby oil, but you didn't expense it through the business. Okay, that was a question. David James says, usually not. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. I didn't know it was going to say all that. All right. All right, still is no update yet. We'll give it a few minutes. Anybody want to come up in the panel? For the one in the live, you like to come up? If not, we can end the show for today. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. My fault, Rap God. How you doing, brother? Did I speak to you when you came in? I don't know if I didn't. How you doing, brother? Good morning to you. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Tiffany.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. What about yourself? Hold on, let me get this volume up.
My allergies over here trying to take me out, but I'm pretty good.
You got you something to take for that?
I live in Kentucky. I don't think there's
Oh,
anything to
nope.
take for it. I think it's just part of the air here.
Yeah.
at certain seasons.
Yeah, we go through Kentucky on the way to Ohio, so I'm familiar with what you're talking about.
Well,
What's your
listen, I just wanted to hop on for a second and try to tell you what my comment was because I didn't think I typed it out right. Yesterday, when I was leaving work, I was listening to the radio and they always do like Diddy updates.
Mhm.
And they were saying that his mom, which I don't think that's his real mom, but they were saying his mom allegedly, I heard this on the radio, so I don't know how true it is, but usually they're pretty accurate. They're saying that his mom would watch him and Diddy, or Cassie and Diddy, like in the act, and that she would tell Diddy to go rougher on her. And I just found that highly disturbing, but I'm gonna have to do some more research to see if it's true.
Yeah, we will, but that is highly disturbing if it's true. Yeah, we got to look into that. But I tell you what though, and I think Jenny said it, but it's the same as yeah, it was Jenny. It's the same as the Kardashians' mom. What she did with Kim and Rachel.
Yeah, but at least we all know that them girls are messed up in the head. They tell
Facts.
everybody.
Fact. Look, there's no discussion. There's no question in that. I mean, right? Yes, yes, absolutely. Brandy, welcome to the live down in Duval. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I have to check into that. I didn't, but it. Given the fact of how he be kissing her on the mouth, and
Yeah,
what was that comment he made about his mom? Oh, she can still touch the floor with her
that's
feet.
some. I don't think that's his real mom. I think that's his aunt. But of course, I'm not sure. That's just my opinion. But I want to know where his real mom is.
I don't know. I'm laughing at Rochelle. She said, I just fainted. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I did hear the same thing that that's not his real. What I heard was when his father passed away, this lady took him in, and that was his aunt, took him in and raised him. But she's really, yeah, she's not his mom. She's his aunt. And but then in the documentary, his friends were stating that his mama auntie uh, had these parties where it would be nothing for them to open up a bedroom door and see people hunching. You see what I'm saying? And doing what they do. So even if you just take that into context, that's weird in itself. Like, yeah, when I was younger, my mother had people and guests over at the house, but they were playing cards in Pekino. It wasn't, if I went to the bathroom, I walked in on somebody, you know what I mean, sharing each other. You know what I mean? I didn't. It wasn't like that. So even to have that, knowing that you got little kids in the house, if
No,
that's true,
something's wrong with that woman.
yeah, yeah. Well, and then look, okay, okay, and I don't know how many people paid attention to this, but in one of the video he did, they both had the IV drip on them, which we've been told that the freak offs would last so long that they would have to have IV or get IV treatment, right? So if they both was on the IV drip, does that mean his mama auntie was participating in the freak offs too? I just wonder. I wonder.
I mean, not necessarily though, because those IV drips are pretty common with the celebrities. That's like the newest thing is the B12 and the same. Like for them, they'll do that crap just to make them feel good because they have access to more than what the regular person does. But
Okay.
she probably was, but I'm just saying not
Well,
necessarily.
no, I want to go with what you said because that's better. Like that. Other than hearing them say that Hillary Clinton was known as old airtight at the freak offs, this is the gross right here. Like those two things are gross. Like I don't want to think about that. That's just weird. It's just
It's all
yeah.
gross.
It's all gross. Yeah, right, right. It's just because I mean, then well, I was gonna say those are the only two, but no. And then remember when she was saying how Puffy Jacket liked to rub the guy's baby batter on his nipple. Listen. I'm 48 and I ain't old enough to hear this.
But it doesn't even make any sense because if you think about diseases and bodily fluids, why would you want someone else's a man's, discharge, or I'm just gonna call it that.
Right.
That's like all their toxins coming out of their body. I don't get
I
it.
I
I can't
don't.
wrap. That's why we're all so intrigued.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's a couple. It's a different. That's definitely one because we can't think of like in our mind we can't process the fact of being that nasty. Like that's nasty. And then to just know that all this time we've been hearing these people and seeing these celebrities, and now to hear what they really were involved in, or we'll say allegedly, for the sake of the platform, what they're allegedly involved in, it's like, you see what I'm saying? It don't work. Shira 95, welcome to the panel. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing
I'm good. How are
fantastic,
you?
thank you. Good. What is your take on it?
I just wanted to jump in. Well, first of all, I think the prosecution is really building their case now. I think we're seeing traction with all of that. I think Cassie, the situation with Cassie is I think I get why they that first week they were really going so in depth with the DV stuff, just showing exactly how difficult it is to get away from him, you know,
Hmm.
and all of the manipulation ploys and the power that he really had. And I think that that kind of we're seeing that witness after witness after witness. They're kind of saying the same type of things about him, you know. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that I think they have a solid case so far. I really do. Um, the other thing I wanted to mention is mentioned Wendy Williams, and I know that way back in the day, Wendy Williams was saying that he was hiding his sexuality, you know?
Facts.
And what I find interesting is, and we're talking about the kinks and why did he want, semen spread on him and stuff like that. And I think that I think that there's psychology behind the fact that some men who are sometimes they could be culturally, sometimes they could be being raised in a very religious background, who are shameful of their sexuality and really are trying to hide it, inhibit it, oftentimes turn into abusers of women and
Hmm.
want to degrade them and punish them. And not to bring up, another case, which is the Shannon Sharp case, but you see, like,
Hmm.
no, who knows what the truth is in that case. But her story is a lot of degradation too, you
Yeah.
know? And
Right.
there's rumors also, all sorts of rumors, the same types of rumors as Diddy about, maybe hiding his sexuality and with him too. And so I think
Thank you,
that's
Tiffany.
interesting that, because there's all of these male S workers. We
Right.
haven't seen any female S workers names coming up yet.
True.
I just find that very interesting if this
True.
is, just this psychological thing where, that's what he enjoys, seeing, this degradation of women and then
Right.
kind of,
Thank you, Dr.
you know,
Rashida.
the semen factor would be leaning into perhaps him, he and
So you saying
enjoys that,
right, the fascination of seeing the man in action, basically.
Yes,
Hmm.
and maybe because he's so shameful of his own sexuality, he wants to experience that fluid bonding. For lack for a better word,
Mm.
I'm trying
Hmm.
not to break TikTok rules,
Right, right. I
you
got you. I
know?
got you.
Um, if that makes sense, kind of like because I think that when men feel as if they need to hide their sexuality for whatever reasons, oftentimes it's kind of like they're angry at women, right? And they're
Hmm.
trying to take that out on women and secretly satisfying that other side of them,
Thank you, Tiffany.
the
Appreciate that.
the
You're
other
awesome.
side of him it through kinks,
I
you
can.
know?
Yeah. Okay. So now let's. And again, people, we're just talking. We're bouncing ideas off each other. All right, so we don't want
Do
nobody.
y'all
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just. This is all based on rumors. Obviously, nothing has ever been confirmed about his
Right,
sexuality or whatever. But
right. We're just asking. So
yeah.
taking what you're saying, because I know we had a guest on who was saying that he went to a Catholic school, and she was saying that
Hmm.
maybe something happened there, right? But I also want to say when the upbringing. So let's say that if what they're saying is actually true, because like again we don't know. But what if it was true that his mommy auntie, when she was raising him up, she did have some kind of uh, relationships with him in that way, and and
Yeah.
and she did. The friend said that the way his mommy auntie treated him was like, hey, you we're not taking no losses. You got to be strong. You got to be, you know what I mean. And if he got anything taken from him, or if he got beat up or something, she would beat him up too. Basically, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hmm.
So could it be the anger that he has or resentment that he has towards her with his upbringing? He could be taking that out on other females.
It.
that's what I was gonna say too. I think that y'all are
Right.
both right, and I think something highly disturbing happened to him from the time he was very small until he was older. And it from all the stuff that's happened, it sounds like it was more than just one incident or one time or one person. It sounds like he's went through a lot of trauma as a child, because we know from psychology that that's sometimes what makes these people tick or do it. It's not learned behavior. You don't pick it up. You don't learn how to go abuse someone. That is learned behavior. Someone did it to you as a child. It doesn't make it okay, but
Mm-hmm.
we know that that's what makes people do these sinister acts because we've seen it. So
Yeah.
it really makes you wonder what the hell happened to him. Excuse my
Yeah.
language.
No. Yeah. I think that's appropriate.
Like
Yeah.
it's disturbing, like all of it, because we're so intrigued by it because none of us can even wrap our minds around it, and that's why we all talk about it. But it just makes you wonder, like, who did this to this man for him to go and pass on these curses of the bloodline? That's the way I'm looking at it, because it's spiritual to me.
Right. I agree with you. And Jenny, you're right. Projecting it on others. Exactly. That's what I was. That's what I'm getting at or thinking too. Marie, welcome to the panel. How you doing, best?
I'm good, Bestie. Thank you for having me. I'm going to be on for a brief moment because I'm on break, but I
Okay.
just wanted to bring this up. If you guys don't, I'm very observant and very detailed. I pay attention. I think too much sometimes, but if you guys remember, on the Kim Porter book, not sure if it's her or truth or whatever, but it stated in there when she approached him and began to convey to him that she's pregnant, and I think he wanted her to
Mm-hmm.
continue with the FOs. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
first thing that came out was, don't you like all this? Don't you like the lifestyle he conveyed to her? This is a job. We have to do this. Okay. Now, I'm saying this to say, I remember in Cassie's um and the testimony when her best friend asked her why does she still be with this man, why is she still doing all these things, and her answer was to her best friend, it's my job. So do you guys kind of put two and two together? For some reason, I think, yeah, he probably did all this stuff because he could have been, like in the other side or whatever, doing all kinds of things. We like what we like in our bedrooms, and that's okay. But I
Right.
feel that he manipulated these women into thinking that it's their job. This is how he's getting paid to pay them, or this is a part of the lifestyle, or whether he was giving them some money. Who knows if this will come out? But I just put those two and two together, and the only thing I'm thinking about is it's my job. It's don't you love this is my job. This is my job. It's
Mm-hmm.
he conveyed to Kim, oh, this is our job. Don't you like these nice things? So if that means anything to anybody besides me,
No.
maybe you know what I'm
No.
saying. So just think
I.
about that too, Bestie.
You're right. You're right. And when you brought that up, I forgot about it. So thank you for bringing it up. But yes, you're right. In the book, she did say, allegedly, her words. You know what? Because we have fickle people. Um,
Yes,
but she did say when she told him that she was pregnant, he did tell her she had to do it more. And basically, she said she didn't want to because they were going to try to harvest the soul, the baby. You see what I'm saying?
yes, yes.
So you're right on that. And yes,
Hmm.
Cassie did say it was her job.
And then he still made her do it when she was on, that time of the month for her too, as for the other when she was carrying seed. So think about it. It's very sickening, guys. But think about those two, Bestie. Okay. I love you guys. I
Absolutely. I
gotta
love you.
go. Have a
Have a
good
great
day.
day. You
Okay.
too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Love that lady too. But
I,
yeah, that I
I
forgot
think
about
that's a
that.
very valid. I think that's a very valid point, and I think that people need to realize that the techniques that abusers use to pull in their victims is very much a cult-like mentality. You
Hmm.
know, it really is. Everybody wonders how do things like Scientologists pull these people in? Everybody can see, you know or these other type of cult like things, right? Everybody on the outside can see that this is what it is, but they have this way and they choose people that are vulnerable,
Hmm.
and that they can use. I mean, abuse victims, that's why it's very often why they go from one abusive relationship right into another abusive relationship, right? Because they're susceptible to that. Young girls who have very little experience in life are susceptible to older men wooing them. The boys their age can't provide what these older men can, right?
Hmm.
They don't have the cars, they don't have financial stability. They it's attractive to them. So that's the original thing that pulls them in. And then over time, there's emotional kind of brainwashing going on. And so yeah, I totally see it's almost like a cult-like thing. It's her job, like there's a better cause. But I
Right.
also wonder if in this trial it's going to come out that somehow he was profiting off of this,
Yeah. As yeah.
indicating this is a job, was he profiting off of this? And I would venture to guess probably.
Yeah.
Um, he probably was. There might be other aspects of even just throwing these parties, selling other illegal things
Hmm.
involved. We still have 7 more weeks to go in testimony and evidence and all of that. So that's another factor, I think.
Hmm.
So when
I agree.
I thought it was interesting when Cassie said repeatedly, Cassie said this was my job, you know.
Hmm.
It is interesting, to that connection.
Yeah, to view it from that perspective. Yeah, and the thing she had that to the point where she it's saddening to think about her seeing it as a job as opposed to seeing it how she was being done wrong. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's but again it goes to the mind control that we talk about.
It It does, and eventually your mind just believes this stuff, especially when it's a romantic relationship, because abuse victims, they actually do love this person. And that's when she's saying, did it to make him happy. It makes sense. You'll hear a lot of abuse victims saying that, about their what they do. And you'll also hear a lot of, I felt like I couldn't say no. And this kept them calm. So
Hmm.
that's why I would say yes to this, or I would do that, or I would talk to him in this way. I knew it would keep him calm. You know,
Right.
that's not consent. It's not that she wanted to. You just learn as an abuse victim over time because you are trained to revolve your life around this person,
Hmm.
and their temperament and what they want and what they need, because God forbid something goes wrong, and then
Right.
you're going to receive, the punishments.
You're right.
So it's really a toxic, really dangerous cycle. And with this case, it goes beyond just DV. It's very, very clear, witness after witness, that people can't leave him,
Hmm.
And I do think that the people that were involved that are also guilty in certain things too, I think that they were also trapped, you know? When I mean you've already heard, I think, two witnesses say that they were afraid for their life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I mean there's this whole it's almost like how the cartel works or how the mafia or a gang, right, works, you
Exactly.
know?
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right. And let's, of course, we keep here. We're focusing or talking about Cassie, but we have to also be mindful that it's more people than just her that he's done taking advantage of. I should say, taking advantage of.
Hmm.
It's more than just her. So I don't know how many people watch the documentaries, either one, but I mean, these people gave their testimony on what happened when they were around or in his company. And I mean, it just goes to creating the pattern of behavior to where you have to believe. I mean, it's hard not to believe what. Let me put it that way. It's hard not to believe what Cassie's saying, and the others, her friend Carrie Morgan and Don Richard, and even
I
this guy David James.
Are you talking
I
about
think
the downfall of Diddy documentaries?
Yes, there was the downfall of Diddy, and then there was another one. I'm not sure what the name
There's
of it
like
was.
four
Something Bad
parts. I've
Boy.
watched them. I
Yeah.
think that
Okay. So,
everything they're saying is right too, especially people with like younger women without dads, because that creates daddy issues to where they feel secure with older men to give them something that they never had. So I see it from all angles.
hmm yeah, I'm not blaming them for that. Again, I just feel like she wasn't trying to lead that kind of lifestyle. Even when she got with him, I don't think it was based on doing that. I think she actually felt like there was going to be something there, and that he was going to love her. And then it got to a point where he was treating her to where she felt like she wasn't enough. I mean, just like her friend said on the stand yesterday, he broke her down. He dulled her spark. You understand? So
she thought that she was in a relationship, and
exactly.
and it seems to me from what's been presented so far, he did not view this as a relationship. He viewed this more as she was there for one purpose and one purpose only. And I mean, you don't see anything, you don't see a relationship here. You don't see romantic dinners. You don't see vacations away. You don't see any of that. Her life for 10 years was every week doing this for 3 or 4 days and then recovering and then doing it again. That was her sole purpose in his life, which
hmm
I think is going to, which I think the prosecution is going to connect to her basically being an S worker. And I think I think that that's what they're really going to say she actually was,
hmm
and that he considered her that, but brainwashed her into thinking this was a relationship. And
Right.
I think that's where they're going, which goes to the trafficking charges, you know?
Facts. Facts. I agree with that. I agree with both of you, you and Tiffany, and Jenny as well. Jenny says no, he saw her as a toy, but she was fully committed. And yeah, I was going to say that too. When Shira, to Shira, that I felt like you're right. She saw it as a relationship, but he saw her as property, and
Exactly.
it doesn't balance out that way. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work. So yeah,
I
I
think his
agree with you.
assistant, I think his assistant kind of
She was
confirmed
getting
that
paid
yesterday too.
50K a week too. So
That
to him that
allowance.
was just a contract. Like he didn't I think it was just like in his mind a business agreement. Well, I'm paying her, so it's all fine.
Right. You do what I want you to do. I'm giving you the money. Right. Because even the vacation.
I own you.
Right. Exactly. Like because
Hmm.
Shira was saying like there's no you don't hear about vacation and then think her friend just said the audio we heard prior to the Gene Deal one. She said when they were in Jamaica. I mean, he abused her, he beat her in, and then some person was saying that he threw her off the boat. She had no shoes, she had nothing. So like at any moment, and then he had her passport, her purse, everything. So like you had we, I just want people to see how he controlled her. I think that's I get it. People saying she stayed and it went on for this long, but you gotta understand though, it's not like she stayed willing. Like she tried to leave at different times, at different points, and she was always met with trauma.
And I think the most dangerous part in her mind was he seemed to be very free in abusing her in front of witnesses,
Hmm.
security guards, other artists, friends, her
Hmm.
friends, his friends. And that goes to show he felt he was untouchable and she thought he was untouchable. Because if all of these people are just watching this and not
Hmm.
stepping in and not helping her, right? And almost trying to tell her, just put up with it. It sounds like some of them, right? Like you have no
Right.
choice. Um,
Hmm.
that is telling her not only is he treating me this way, and even if I try to get away, none of these people will help me. He is
Exactly.
untouchable. And
Hmm.
that is somebody that is being held captive. He didn't put her in a cage, but she
Same
basically
thing.
was living life for 10 years in a cage.
Right. You're
Yeah, and
right.
my stance has changed too because I didn't think she was the victim. At first I did, then I didn't. And now that more is unraveling, I really feel like some of the stuff she could have, not participated in, but she was definitely a victim just because she was manipulated into believing that she couldn't leave. So the psychology part of it has made me like change my mind significantly just recently in the past few days.
Right. And see, that's a lot of things. That's a major thing that people don't factor in is the psychological warfare that it is. Like she, and to Shira's point, like she did tell people, and those people she told didn't do anything. You know what I mean? So I agree with you, Tiffany. I agree with you, Shira. Like we have to focus on that point as far and somebody said it yesterday. I don't know who it was. They said instead of asking why she stayed, ask why did he keep doing it. It might have been
Exactly.
Angel. It might have been Angel. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm trying to gear people to when I come on here. Like, yeah, he's gonna have his day in court, and even if he's guilty, he could be found innocent. If he's innocent, he could be found guilty. But if we just sit and listen to the things that is presented in court, and then you go, even okay, I'm gonna take it with me. I go back to 2008, and I know it's 2008 because in 2006 is when I first moved to Bellevue, Nebraska, and that's when Me and You was hot. It had just dropped. It was like on fire, right? But in 2008, it was already going around the industry. Like if they was around guys, or like if she was around guys and they were out at a event or a gala or anything, he wanted her to look down, keep her head down. You understand? It was already stated then that he would let guys basically do her in every hole on her body. This is 2008. So when I'm saying what I'm saying up here, I'm basing it a lot off of what I've known years before. This was where we're at now. You understand? So like right now, people are all quick to say, well, this is coming out, so everybody's just trying to get a money grab. It's just, but no, let's go back to decades ago when social media wasn't where at the height of where it is now. Let's go back to then, the early when things like this were already going on. It just wasn't as people didn't put as much stock in it. It didn't get this much coverage. Nobody, because as we know, in that group, in that select group or society, it's a code amongst honor. You keep it to you. You're gonna talk about it. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why I say when I'm saying she's a victim. Um, okay, yeah, some things she did go along with, but did she go along with it because she didn't want to get beat anymore? And if that's the case, could you blame her? Can you fault her? Well, she could have left. Okay. Well, when she did leave and he found and beat her, so what are we saying here? There's only one way. All avenues lead to one thing. He's a victim.
Her, a friend testifying yesterday was, I think, very, very damaging to him
Absolutely.
because she doesn't have a dog in this fight.
Hmm.
She 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 removed herself from that whole situation years ago. She said on the stand that she didn't even want to be there, that
Mm-hmm.
she said goodbye to that part of her life years ago. She said goodbye to these people, everyone involved, years ago. She wants nothing to do with anyone. And what she described was somebody who was trying to run away and was dragged back. She had a number of stories of really, I mean, horrifying stories. You know, imagine running into the woods and hiding for hours in a
Right.
ditch in the woods.
Come on,
Imagine
right?
that. Imagine
Yeah.
how scary those two women were.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, he dragged her back. He came and got her, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think her testimony is very, very damaging to him because you can't say that she has any loyalty to Cassie at this point. She severed that friendship back then, you
Mm-hmm.
know? You can't say that she has any loyalty to Diddy because, you know,
Clearly. Right.
she
She
doesn't,
don't. Right.
clearly. And so I think this is an unbiased person really confirming a lot of what that is. And I think the damaging part of Cassie's whole thing is the most damaging part is he kept her captive pretty much. You know, there's so many examples of her trying to get away
Mm-hmm.
and he would drag her back. And I think that that really is the most important part of the testimony because it sets up the trafficking. It really does, you know?
Right. You're right.
You know, I think that is everybody has to get rid of the fluff and the gossip and the salacious parts of the testimonies and really focus on what he's charged with and what the prosecution is proving in these little stories. Story after story, witness after witness. It's crazy at this
It,
point,
it's
you know?
wild, right? Yeah, it's
Hmm.
crazy. And so, you know,
How he could let this go to trial is beyond me. Like, I'm shocked that he let this go to trial. I really am. You know, it's kind of like
yeah,
take the L, take the plea deal,
yeah.
get the best that you can, because I don't think that this is gonna. I think I think he should have taken whatever that deal was. It was probably not a great deal, but
It's better than what it could be. Right? Yeah,
yeah,
better than what it's looking like now. I agree with you on that. I don't know why he didn't. Yeah, but again, maybe it could have been the. I'm gonna make a word up. I guess flamboyancy. Maybe it's the fact of he's been in control for so long that he figures, hey, maybe I can still manipulate people and do things like that in order for them to see it in my favor. And
exactly. He's untouchable.
yeah,
He
exactly,
feels untouchable. Yeah.
exactly,
You know, the problem is that he's used to manipulating the public. And no matter what the public thinks at this point, I mean, it's the law. Like, and all that the prosecution has to prove is, did he break the law? And that's it. And he can't get around that.
no,
He can't. You know, I was blown away that he has the audacity to, in New York City, just pull people aside walking down the street, paying them
yeah,
to wear
$20.
free
Put
Diddy
this shirt on.
t-shirts.
Come on,
Yeah,
that in itself should
you
be the
know?
crime, right? Oh
People are
man,
doing it. They're standing there for 5 hours, you know, and
yeah,
it's so funny. But you know, also I heard that his legal team and and he has his own PR team at the trial is having lunch with TMZ and all of these
yes,
other social media influencers and stuff like that on breaks and during lunch. And I think that people need to keep in mind when they hear like some of these hardcore people fighting for him, like speaking up for him, no matter what details come out about this, you have to kind of question, why are they, you
mm-hmm,
know, is there a reason
mm-hmm,
why? What's their reason why? You know, because some of this stuff, it's just like if you're looking at it from an unbiased way, you can't excuse some of this stuff, you know?
facts, facts. You know, I'm thinking. First of all, thank you two for coming up on the panel. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thank you for your uh, perspective on things. Here's what I'm going to try to do. Um, there's a lady that I know spent time around him, and I'll let her tell her story. But I'm going to see if she'll come over and do a show for us. Let just come up on the panel. Let me interview her, and that way we can take it from off the trial. and we'll just put it on somebody who was actually with him, worked for him, did stuff like. You see what I'm saying? Um, I'm gonna ask her if she'll come up. Now she did on another platform, and I'm gonna ask her if she'll come up, if she mind. I'm not gonna ask her to put her name. Well, you'll see her name, but I'm not gonna ask her, to put stuff out there that she can't. But just strictly ask her about her experience of being around him, experience seeing the uh, monster side of him. Um, I'm gonna ask her if she'll come on and do a show with us. If she can come on the hashtag, I'm gonna say it. I think that's what I'm gonna do. What y'all think? Think that's a good idea?
I think that would be really cool.
Okay.
Same.
Just
I think
make
so
sure
too.
that she knows how to talk, like, so that way you don't get a hater. Because people like to report stuff like that. I don't know why.
Right, right. I don't either, but okay. Okay, so I'm going to reach out to her. I'm going to reach out to her and see if she'll do that because I think that will help us out tremendously as far as it's not an opinion. Like you said, it's not an opinion. This is her life. This is her experience being around him. And I, I don't want to say how she put it like this. Yeah, yeah. I'm just leave it right there. I'm gonna ask her because she has experience around him. We ain't got to worry about media. We ain't got to worry about online. This is her life, and she's already vetted. She's been vetted, so I know she's telling the truth. I know she's done what she said she done for him and stuff. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Hey, let's give it. Let's W Shira and Tiffany. Let's give it up for them. W them in the live, ladies. I appreciate you all. I'm gonna end the
Thank
show
you.
and I'm gonna drop you all down. Thank you so much. Right,
Have
y'all
a
have a
good
great
one.
day.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that. I'm gonna reach out to her and see if she will come on and do that for us because I just feel like we need that right now. I think that's can give us a better indication or better insight on how day to day life is with this man. You know what I mean? Instead of, yeah, that's just what I think. So that's what we're gonna do. Before I end the show, let me shout out all my gifters. We appreciate the love and support. Give it up for my panelists, Shira, Tiffany, and Marie. Thank you all. You ladies are amazing. Thank you for coming up. And last but not least, my moderator. Can't do this without y'all. It's a team effort. It's a team effort. All right. So look, I gotta hurry up and go. I gotta go get Rudy off the bus. So I'm gonna end the show. Tomorrow we'll be back here again, and I'm gonna say 8:30. I know I said 8:30 supposed to be the day, but I have some things to do. So we're going to call it 8:30, but just be looking for me. It'll be in the morning. All right. All right. Angel, thank you. And give it up to you too. And oh, by the way, let me mention before we get off, I want to remind people May 31st. Matter of fact, I'm going to send a, what you call it, an event thing out. And May 31st, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to have 4 strong women come up on the panel and talk about their experiences dealing with DV and SA. Okay, you don't want to. And again, I love the fact they do not refer to themselves as victims. They refer to themselves as survivors, as they should because they are. All right, don't miss that. Don't miss that. I'm gonna send it out. Hopefully, you all get the invite, and you can click and let us know if you're gonna join or anything like that. Once we send it out, if you get it, if you share it, I appreciate it. Look, let's get everybody in here. Let's educate people that, like I said, that there's some bodies. It's more than one. It's some people that's going through these things, and they need that strength. They need to hear those words to get them through it, get them out of it. And so these four ladies have decided to pull the curtains back, be completely transparent with us, and let us into their lives and their world and what they deal with, even to today. You understand? And I want to thank them for it. They are all four blessings to me in my life. All right. And I hope they know that. All right. You all have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Please be safe out there. Please be safe out there. All right. And let's all reconvene here tomorrow. Peace and blessings to you all. Signing off for the newsroom.